Well, good morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Taylor Stephenson, and welcome to our daily live segment, More with Mueller, where we take a deeper dive into weather across not only the U.S., but sometimes across the globe. Now, of course, I'm not Craig Mueller. He's off again today, enjoying some vacation time. So I'm going to be the one guiding you into what to expect across the U.S. for today. A lot going on weather-wise. And then for our friends in Hampton Roads, we'll take a deeper dive into our local weather and how this really strong cold front will impact us over the next couple of days. So these are the topics we're going to get into for today. It's a wide range of topics. First one, wildfires are scorching the U.S. from west coast to east coast and everything in between. We've seen so much in the way of drought that these really dry conditions are helping to fuel these wildfires we are seeing across the U.S. Number two, the complete opposite. We're going to talk snow today. Some places getting some snow across the Pacific Northwest, even some snow forecasted for the Appalachian Mountains as we get into the end of the work week. So something to keep in mind is that we're going from one opposite to the other, hot to cold, and then Hampton Roads doing the same thing. Warm today, getting very cold as we end the week. We're going to talk more about a strong cold front to impact parts of the area as we get into the next couple of days. So first up, we are talking wildfires scorching the U.S. Right now, this is our active wildfires across the U.S. Anywhere from Portland, Oregon, all the way into Billings, Montana. So we're going to show you section by section what we're seeing. So right now, as you get into Portland, just outside of there at the Oregon and Washington border, we're seeing a couple of wildfires there. Getting into Idaho and Montana, many wildfires, especially the further north you get closer to that Canada border. Even getting into Wyoming and parts of Colorado, seeing some wildfires as well. That's what I'm saying. These wildfires, they span from one coast to the other. It's no specific place seeing all the wildfires at this point. Getting into Oklahoma and Texas, many wildfires, especially as you get closer to the Houston metro area and parts of East Texas. So some scattered wildfires across the state of Louisiana and the deep south. We're seeing some in Arkansas, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, one in southeastern Georgia. Now in the East Coast, here in the Mid-Atlantic where we're based, 13 News Now is based in Norfolk, Virginia, we're actually not seeing any active wildfires at the moment. There are a couple wildfires as you get into the Northeast, but they're very few and far between. One near the Maine-Canada border, one just outside of Boston, and then another one in the extreme southwestern parts of Massachusetts. So across the area, active wildfires everywhere. They even spread into Mexico and into Canada. Now, how do we even get these wildfires? Well, first, let's talk about the basics, how wildfires happen. So with the wildfire, you need certain ingredients. You need dry vegetation, which usually is going to be in the form of those dry grasses or even some dry plants that just cannot contain that moisture. Low humidity also has to be in place for that as well. And then you need some winds to kind of stir up that fire. That's the three ingredients for wildfires. So for a fire, you need, of course, anyone we would know when we talk about fires and even how to put out fires, and not just wildfires, but in fires within homes and buildings. These three things fuel these things. That's why you have to eliminate one of them so that fires go out. So a heat source is what you need for a fire, fuel and oxygen, and any brush or dry grass and trees are excellent fuel for these fires. That goes back to that dry vegetation. If you get even dry thunderstorms, a lot of times that happens in California, you get that little bit of a spark, and when you get those winds, they start to really spread that fire. So when the winds fan the flames, those embers spread, and that's how you get those wildfires that can burn acres and acres across the area. Now, if what you need to do in the case of a wildfire, remember, you need to prepare to evacuate, especially in those wildfires that are not contained. There are also wildfires that are intentionally set by the government to help the ecosystem. We're not talking about those. We're talking about wildfires that are sparked naturally, or again, in the case of arson, when people throw out their cigarettes and they throw it on dry vegetation. That can happen as well. Also, you need to listen to emergency channels and know the status of the fire. How big is the fire? Is the fire out of control? How much is contained in that? But make sure you have the emergency supply kit. The same way we have with tornadoes and hurricanes, you need the same thing. So if you're an area is impacted by wildfires, you need to have your medication, your food, your water supplies, also any necessary documents like your birth certificate or licenses, just so you can have that identification just in case you do have to evacuate and stay away from the area for a while. Now, the dangerous weather for wildfires is on both coasts. Wildfires are burning in the Northeast as red flag warnings persist across the drought-stricken region, and life-threatening rain and flooding are set to hit the West Coast as well. We are watching that bomb cyclone. ABC's Trevor Alt has the latest.
This morning, those extreme drought conditions continue to choke the Northeast. Overnight, another brush fire breaking out in New York City. Firefighters rushing to douse the flames in Upper Manhattan.
They've got about 10 acres burning at this point. It is a second alarm blaze that they are trying to get under control.
The mayor declaring a drought warning for the first time in 20 years.
The reality is that we need rain, not only here in the city, but up near our reservoirs.
In Massachusetts, gusting winds fanning this brush fire outside Boston.
The elevation, yeah, it's an extreme challenge. First, fatigue for the firefighters to drag the hose up, and then just, pumping the water up the hill is a challenge.
Since October, Massachusetts has had more than 600 wildfires, charred nearly 2,000 acres. That's an entire year's worth of fire damage in less than 2 months. And in this drought, New Jersey's Wanacue Reservoir is at just 44% capacity. Water levels 16 feet lower than they were this time last year.
Now, some rain is finally expected soon, but even that could potentially bring a new set of problems as New York City officials are now activating plans for possible flash flooding. Trevor Alt, ABC News, New York.
And Trevor's completely right. If you have very dry grounds and you add water on top of that, that could lead to some potential flash flooding. So that's something we'll keep an eye out for too. But of course, with wildfires comes wildfire smoke. Now, the good news is when I've been looking at these models, it doesn't show much when it comes to significant wildfire smoke. But let's take it region by region. And where we were just talking about New York up into the Northeast, there will be some wildfire smoke in the area, very low in its density, but anywhere from Bridgeport all the way down into the heart of New York City, you will have a little bit of smoke in the area today. Oklahoma City, Dallas, Houston, you'll have some low-end wildfire smoke as well for your Wednesday night. Albuquerque, New Mexico as well, you'll have that low end. Now, some higher-end smoke is down in Las Vegas, so that could lead to some difficulty breathing. Also, for those who have asthma problems or difficulty with breathing as in any health issues, this may be one of those situations where you wear a mask when you go outside for more sensitive groups. But it's going to be Las Vegas where that bullseye is for some very thick smoke this afternoon and evening going into the early Thursday morning. And a few areas to the north of that also seeing some light smoke as well. Tampa, just to the south of you, a little bit of light smoke as you get closer to Fort Myers. But that's about it for the U.S. So that bullseye again right near Las Vegas as we get into early tomorrow morning. That's the big picture for our wildfire smoke across the area. Now, here in the Mid-Atlantic, what are our wildfire risks? Well, it looks very low for right now, even though we are in a severe drought in places like the south side of Hampton Roads into the peninsulas. Area-wide through the majority of Virginia, we're in either abnormally dry, moderate, or severe drought conditions. But even with that, we are talking minimal impacts or very low impacts for fire danger across the area, anywhere from Norfolk out to Roanoke, Raleigh, New Bern, Charlotte, Bristol, Knoxville, a little bit on the light to moderate side, but still for places like Knoxville and Lexington, you guys are still on that lower end. So the good news is we're not seeing any wildfires in this area of the country right now anyways, but at least we are not going to expect that over the next couple of days. But we are keeping our thoughts for those who are experiencing those wildfires, again, burning across the U.S. We're going to take a very sharp turn, though, into some different news. We are talking about letting it snow across the area. We have snow in the forecast from the Pacific Northwest all the way into parts of the Appalachians. It's possible as we get into the late parts of the week. Here's our big picture. This is what we're looking at from our satellite and radar, and it shows, if we can take that graphic full, showing that we're seeing some of that light snow starting to really build into some heavier snow along a bomb cyclone that is developing just to the Pacific Northwest. Right now, as you get into Portland, Seattle, Vancouver, we are seeing some of that light snow, even getting down into portions of Northern California, some wet snow mixed in with some mixed precipitation, even seeing some of that maybe ice and heavy rainfall, a part of this huge swirl. This is the bomb cyclone that meteorologist Evan Stewart talked about yesterday. And with this bomb cyclone, this is what it is. What is bombogenesis? Well, that's what we're associating with the formation of a very strong low pressure system that we would consider a bomb cyclone. You have the cold air to the north getting wrapped around that center of low pressure, and the largest temperature gradients, they lead to the rapid intensification. It's also a lot of times mixed in with very warm ocean waters, especially in places like the Northeast, and with bomb cyclones in the Northeast specifically, that's when we usually typically see those strong nor'easters. Now, there's a specific criteria for a bomb cyclone defined as a center low pressure dropping 24 millibars over 24 hours. Now, this can happen at any time, but it's most likely from the middle to late fall into parts of very early spring, so October through March, and can result in super heavy rainfall or even really heavy snow and precipitation, and can see wind gusts getting into tropical storm force wind gusts, and even getting close to hurricane force wind gusts of around 70 miles per hour. So very strong stuff coming with bomb cyclones, but that's what we're seeing out in the Northeast. But going back to our big picture and taking this graphic full, you'll see that we are tracking some snow now also through Winnipeg up into Canada, all the way down into Bismarck, North Dakota, light to wet, heavy snow across there. Minneapolis also seeing some snow as well. Not so much here across Hampton Roads in northeastern North Carolina, but we could see snow across parts of the Appalachians if we do get that cold front bringing in that really cold air very soon. So something to look forward to across the area for parts of our friends in Western Virginia, even into West Virginia. We could see some of that heavier snow possible. So that's something to look forward to if you, one, live out there, or two, want to go visit for the weekend just to get a little taste of winter. But I will say our taste for winter is on the horizon for us here across Hampton Roads.